Welcome to True Crime with Strategiceyes.
Strategic back again. What's going on, guys? Got a really good show, interesting show for you guys today. We're going to be analyzing the final statement that was given by Stephan Stearns before he was taken into custody. We're also going to watch him get searched, photographed, etc. I'm telling you my opinion on that. We're definitely going to get through this. It's going to be a very interesting show. But first off, my wife told me that I look like a hot mess with this hat. If you think I look like a hot mess, please let me know in the comment section. Put a 1 up for a hot mess. Put a 0 for you're looking pretty good. We're going to reverse that up. But anyway, guys, I appreciate you guys for joining me today. Just want to start off with a little light tone a little bit because we are going to be covering some heavy topics. So once again, guys, we're going to be listening and analyzing Stephan Stearns. I assume that everybody who's here has already watched this on Grizzly True Crime's channel. This is what we're going to be using. We're going to be using Grizzly's channel, her upload of this conversation to react to it. So please do show Grizzly some love. Go over to her channel, watch it in its entirety if you haven't watched it already. But understand, I assume that you guys have watched it already. So please don't get disappointed. Don't get upset. Don't leave these crazy comments in the comment section if we're stopping the video every couple of seconds. That's why we're here for. We're here to analyze it. So I've told you where you can find the full video with no commentary, whatnot. You know where to find it. Go to Grizzly's channel. Don't just go watch it. Also, make sure you subscribe to it. But if you're here because you want me to analyze it. The next thing I want to talk about before we get started, and I started a couple minutes early because it's late. I'm not really a nighttime guy, but I have to do these lives in the night because I'm doing things during the day. Busy day today. But I want to talk about something that I said a few shows ago. And I see people like my hat, so I appreciate that. I would have taken constructive criticism. If you put a 1, I get it. It's okay. A few shows ago, I talked about that we needed a Madaline Soto Act. And the reason why I said we needed a Madaline Soto Act is because I didn't want to point too many fingers or whatever. I didn't want to denigrate anybody. But I felt like there were some missed opportunities for Madaline to get the help she deserved from her school. And I know it's not the school's job to raise our children, but our children, just like our workplaces, for those of us who work full-time, some people are retired, some people are disabled, no disrespect to them. But for the people who work full-time, for the children who go to school and the people who go to college, you spend most of your day in these institutions. Our kids literally spend almost half their lives with their schools rather than with us, their parents, the people who love them and raised them and made them. And so there is an opportunity for these schools to see when things are wrong. And when you have a little girl who's falling asleep in class, who has mood swings, who's very emotional, is always crying, always depressed, always sad, drawing strange and erotic and trauma-filled pictures in her notebook, has a relationship with the school counselor. Not every kid goes to the school counselor. I think they all have to check in every once in a while, every quarterly, whatever, but not every school counselor is literally meeting with a child every month. That was Maddy. That was a missed opportunity, ladies and gentlemen. And I envisioned that this Madaline Soto Act, I didn't really think it through, but so many people are hitting me up, and that's why I'm talking about it right now. They're hitting me up like, yo, we're serious about this strategic. Some people have already contacted Governor DeSantis about it. Some people told me, well, we're going to contact Senator Marco Rubio because this is Florida. So since people are serious about it, they're like, well, what do you think, strategic? What are some of the ideas you think should be in this act? Well, I haven't really thought about it. I just felt like we needed to get help. But I'm thinking that we give better training to these counselors in these schools. And this is not to denigrate the counselor that handled Madaline Soto. I just feel like I had counselors hit me up and say, well, they can't ask certain questions. Because if they ask a child if they're being abused, then they could somehow be sued. I don't know what state and municipality that person was telling me that information from. Maybe it varies from state to state. But I think a counselor should be able to ask a child, are you okay? Is somebody hurting you? And I think if we're going to have a Madaline Soto Act, it has to be included in it. There has to be more funding for more school counselors so that these counselors don't feel overwhelmed, for better pay for these counselors so that we're not getting the riffraff, the people who just need a job because all the good counselors work for other institutions, so we're getting the lowest quality counselors. And lastly, we need to change the law where counselors can feel free to question these children and ferret out if they are being victimized. And I think we can start there. So I just want to throw that out there into the universe. If anybody has any ideas about what could be a good Madaline Soto Act, feel free to email me and I'll pass it along to the people who are reaching out to me saying that they're serious about bringing this forward to their Florida legislatures, okay? Now, before we get started, big shout out to Leah Marie Rose with a $9.99 super chat who says, made it to the live first time. Happy to catch you. Your insight is unmatched. You have been right from the beginning. Maddy was failed, but her voice is being heard now. Thank you so much, Lee Marie. Lee Maria Rose. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. And I take that to the heart. And, you know, our mission on this channel is just to be a voice for the voiceless. I'm not a perfect person. I make mistakes. Sometimes I misspeak. It is what it is. But I'm trying to be genuine in my approach to let you guys know that it's from my heart. I'm trying to be a voice for the voiceless, and I appreciate you and your support. Also appreciate everybody who became a member before the live started. I can't see those lives now. Oh, actually I can. Armin, What's the Word, Kate, Colleen Gennaro, Rebecca, Zeno. Appreciate you guys for becoming members and supporting the channel. I see one more just popped up. Let me see if I can catch that. Natalie Lemfair, another member. She upgraded her membership to a white shield, so she was a lower tier. Now she's decided to invest more into the show. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for upgrading and believing in me, because, you know, that means you believe in me. For everybody who is supporting the channel in their own ways, whether you're just watching the show or you're a member or you're a Patreon member, in your own way, you're showing that you believe in me, and I do appreciate it, and I thank you very much, all right? That being said, guys, we're going to jump into this. We're going to analyze it. There's a lot to talk about here. This guy is just loaded with guilt, ladies and gentlemen. Loaded with guilt. So let me bring this in over here. Let's get started. Just my mic, just the audio, and let's rock and roll. Oh, one more thing. I'm starting it at 3 hours and 54 seconds. That's maybe like 15 minutes since they started the interview. Before that, he's basically just going over the story that he's already told 1,000 times. His body language relatively stays the same. Let me see, just make sure I have my timestamp here. Okay. When I go back here, you see him sleeping. This is not exactly an indication that he doesn't care. When you are under a lot of stress and you have a lot of guilt, your body is gonna want to go to sleep. You're gonna want to shut down. Also, a lot of times these interview rooms are purposely cold to keep a person uncomfortable. So he's probably cold, he's riddled with guilt, and his body's trying to cope with that stress. His body's trying to find a way to relieve that stress, and the easiest thing to do is to go to sleep. Believe it or not, you can look that up on the internet. There's a lot of interview interrogators, a lot of educators, criminal justice educators who study this and cover this. This is natural here. So, yes, he's cold-blooded. Yes, he's a psychopath. Yes, he's a sick, demented person who did a horrible thing to Maddy. But him sleeping is not necessarily a visualization of the evilness that's in this man's soul and his heart. His sleeping is a natural mechanism to cope with the stress that he's under right now. Remember, he knows what was on his phone. He knows that they have it. He's holding out hope a little bit, but he knows this is it. He knows he's not leaving this room without being in handcuffs. He knows this. And this is what his body's doing to cope with that stress. So now I'm going to bring us back to where we was at before. We're going to get this party started. We'll just start here. Random. 350. Let's do it.
White Crocs.
White Crocs. Okay.
Oh, he said white Crocs. I'm going to bring it back a couple of seconds. I want to get the context of that white Crocs. Let's bring it to 3:45. Let's do it.
Get up for real and start getting ready. Typically, she will have showered the night before, so she needs to brush her hair, brush her teeth. Excuse me. Get her book bag together. Eat some breakfast if she's going to eat.
Hey guys, I see that message with a request to turn on the closed captioning. Unfortunately, there is no closed captioning. As you guys can probably see on your screen, I'm hovering over and it says subtitles / closed captions unavailable. So I apologize for that. And of course, I'm doing a live stream, so it's not possible for Google to translate this right now as a live stream. So I apologize for that. Let's keep going.
There, and then we eventually make our way out the door.
Okay. So walk me through, like, you leave, you take her to school in your car?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so what are we doing here? We all know what it means when people cross their arms. Lots of interview interrogation classes talk about it. You've probably seen it before, different YouTube channels. He's basically closed off. You know, he's setting up that wall. He's guarded. He's not being truthful. He's protecting himself. Easy stuff there. But what he's also doing is something we've seen him do throughout this investigation. He's trying to portray himself to be the victim. He's trying to portray himself to be hurt. He's trying to portray himself also to be cooperative. He's like a trifecta. He like models these three things at the same time to try and deceive the people who are trying to get the truth from him. I'm scared, I'm stressed out, but I'm also very cooperative, but I'm also guarded at the same time. I'm giving you everything. I'm checking all the boxes off. All the perpy boxes, he's checking them off. This guy, he believes that he's putting the face of somebody who's emotionally distraught and worried about Maddy. But when the rest of us look at him, remember, Stephan Stearns thinks he's the smartest guy in the room, guys. He thinks he's the smartest guy in the room. But for the rest of us, you don't even need law enforcement training or academic training to see what you're seeing with your own eyes right now. Clearly, with the rest of us, we see a very guilty person. And it didn't take all the media releases, all of the FOIA requests, all of the interviews for us to figure that out. On day one, when the first news interview came out, everyone looked at Stephan Stearns and could tell that he was guilty of sin. Why? Because he thinks he's deceiving us, but that's part of his mental illness. That's part of his insanity. He doesn't understand you're not the smartest guy in the room. What you are good at is destroying the lives of people, destroying the lives of your parents, destroying the lives of Maddy, destroying the lives of Jenn, destroying the lives of Maddy's father, destroying the lives of Jenn's parents, Maddy's grandparents. I know we don't like some of these people in this list, but it's the truth. All of these people's lives were destroyed because of Stephan Stearns. That's the only thing he's good at. He's not good at deception. He just thinks he is. Only a person who is truly self-absorbed would believe that his story would fly in a million years. In a million years. He had a better chance taking the gun he was carrying around and causing a wound on himself and saying, yo, somebody came, they shot me, and they took her away. He had a better shot with that flying than the story that he gave. And what that tells me, and I'm going to play it, I'm sorry, but this all ties in, and that's what you're here for. You're here to hear my opinion. What that tells me is that his story was sloppy. And what that tells me, having a sloppy story, is that it was not well planned out. Now, it came out through the charges that they're charging him with premeditated murder. But you guys got to understand, according to the law in 50 states, premeditated doesn't have to be a week out. Premeditated doesn't have to be a day out. Premeditated could be a minute before you actually commit the murder. So maybe the prosecutor knows something that we don't know that resulted in him snapping in that moment and deciding to kill her, earning him that premeditated murder. But he did not plan out this murder, because anybody who planned out this murder would have seen that there's cameras everywhere. At least, in the very least, understand that there's cameras inside of the development. He had years to case those cameras. He lived in that development. Yet he felt that his sloppy behavior in cleaning up the crime scene was going to somehow allow him to get away with it. That's just an example of his insanity. Let's keep going.
And what kind of car do you have?
It's a Lincoln. It's actually my parents' car because my car is down south. It needs maintenance, and we're scared to drive it too much. So I'm driving a Lincoln right now. Got out early. The plan was to get some McDonald's on the way. So we got out nice and early.
Do you remember what time you left, roughly?
Not 100%. Sorry.
Okay.
I'm sorry. My memory has not been super reliable.
No, that's fine.
It always goes back to the memory. My memory is not good. You know, I'm all zonked out. I can't think straight. Rebecca with a $4.99 super chat says, love your show. You might get in touch with Jenny Escobar Mendez. She is working with other advocates to bring legislation in Florida for Maddy. That's awesome. Yep. We'll reach out, and I'm not good at this stuff. I've never done this stuff before, but I'm always willing to throw ideas to whoever's willing to listen. Let's keep going. Thank you. Appreciate you for saying that.
But it was early. Maybe 7:30, 7:45, something like that. I'm not sure. I'm honestly not certain.
That's fine.
The plan
Was Jennifer awake when you guys left?
Semi-awake. I was giving her updates as we were going along. Getting ready, she's getting dressed. We're leaving now. Goodbye. But she was sleeping in, so I was just giving her little updates and poking my head in as we went. But we leave the house. We start making our way to the school. Most of the time, we make our way over towards her school area. I ask her if she's still in the mood for McDonald's. She says no. She doesn't want it anymore. Okay. Continued on. It was still pretty early though, I think. We still had some time to kill. It wasn't really time to drop her off yet. I had apparently forgotten my clicker key fob for the gate. So I ended up actually turning around at some point and going back to the community to get the clicker. I had to use my parking sticker to get in for the guy to scan. I had some errands to run afterwards, and then I wanted to have my fob. But we still had plenty of time as far as I knew. So we did that, grabbed the clicker, left again, and that's when we drove over to her school area, and I dropped her off where I dropped her off.
Okay. Do you remember where you dropped her off?
Yeah, it was the stretch of, I forget the street name. It was the stretch.
You know what I never got accustomed to, guys? It's like when you're sitting across these guys and you know that they know that you got them, and they just can't tell the truth. Like, for a guy like Stephan Stearns in his position right now, knowing it's over, like even being incarcerated right now, knowing it's over, knowing that there's so much evidence that he's in touch with his attorney, he's seen his discovery, he knows what the prosecution has, he understands it. Everything that we've seen, understand that Stephan Stearns has seen that as well. Maybe not the video stuff because you can't have that in prison, but his attorney certainly probably had transcripts made. It's where all your money goes when you hire an attorney. He's in prison right now. His attorney has transcribed this entire interview, and he's now has that in his cell. He has boxes in his cell, most likely. Boxes of discovery material. He's read this interview. He's read Jenn Soto's interview. He's read his parents' statements. He's read the roommate statements, his friends' anybody who was interviewed by police. All evidence. He read the reports where they went to these different places. They checked these cameras, the timetables, the maps that we've seen that's come through discovery. He has those very same maps in his cell right now. When you know that you're dead to rights, what I never understood is why can't these guys ever just man up and be accountable and say, you know what? I've done some horrible things in my life. I've disappointed a lot of people. but I'm going to try and get on the road of redemption by at least admitting to what I did and pleading guilty. Why not? Like, why not? Why put Maddy's family through all of this nonsense? Why, the longer this trial goes on, the more we're going to cover it, the more of a spectacle that's going to hurt his family, their family, Jenn Soto, all the people involved. I'm trying to be objective right now. Forget about personal opinions of these people. These are human beings. All of these people are going through this extended pain. Why? Because he doesn't want to do the right thing and put this to bed. This is a non-story. If he says guilty, we'll cover his guilty plea. We'll move on with our lives. We'll keep on trying to bring awareness to Maddy through legislature, but we're not covering this. We're not doing shows on this anymore. Why won't he give people peace? Why won't people like him have one last bit of human decency to give everybody else peace? I don't get it. I never could wrap my head around it. There's no chance you're going to get away with this. And there's probably no chance you could escape the death penalty. So why not just do the honorable thing and say enough is enough? Let me stop the pain and man up for what I did. I did it. This is why I did it. Somebody who's with a PhD, come talk to me, study me, learn from me so that you could stop somebody else from becoming me and let everybody move on with their life. Let's keep going. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to go off on that tangent.
CashApp road that the school is on. Make a right onto it. It goes down a little ways. There's some communities over here, and up further there's a church, and then there's the overpass and the school on the other side of the overpass right there. I dropped her off on that stretch where the communities are.
Was she by herself when you dropped her, or was her friends there?
Yeah, she was by herself. She said she was going to go find her friends and hang out, wait for them to show up.
Okay.
It was still early.
Where did you go after that? Like, did you see her walk towards the...
I saw her making her way towards the direction of the school, but she was like kind of shuffle step. She was meandering her way there. She was rummaging through her backpack for something. I assumed she was looking for headphones maybe. But as it turns out, she did leave her phone at home that day, so she might have actually been looking for her phone.
Gotcha, okay. What was she wearing when she left?
All right, so these guys are just setting them up right now. They already heard the story. We've all heard the story. They're letting them preach it because they're setting them up. This is about to get hostile soon. I don't know when, but it's going to get hostile soon, all right? They're just letting them, warming them up. If you hit him too hard, he's going to lawyer up like he did later on, but we're getting there.
When you dropped her off?
Green hoodie, black shorts, black or blue, black shorts, white Crocs.
White Crocs? Okay. All right, so she's walking towards the school. Do you continue straight when you leave, or do you turn around?
I turned around and went back the other way. I was watching her in my rearview mirror. And she was going the right direction, so it looked okay.
That yawn is also a symptom of stress. This guy is under a lot of stress, and it takes a lot of energy to maintain the demeanor, to watch what he's saying. He knows that every word that comes out of his mouth could possibly incriminate him. He's under a lot of stress. That wasn't, oh, I don't give a damn about anything. I'm yawning. This is so boring. No, that was stress. Let's keep going.
And where did you go after that?
The next stop I wanted to go to was the vape shop. It opened at 10, so I had a little while, so I just kind of meandered around and eventually made my way over there to wait for it to open. It didn't open when it was supposed to, so I left and came home, and went back about an hour later when I was sure it would have to be open at that point. Got what I needed there, and made my way back to home again. Relaxed and hung out with Jen for a while. Seems like any other morning.
Somebody made a good comment in the chat. I was just about to make it, so you're ahead of the game. Notice that he's not making eye contact, just small inadvertent contact before moving his eyes away. definitely deception. We know that, though. I mean, I'm preaching to the choir. I'm just trying to just tell you the things that I would notice if I'm in this interview and I haven't received the information that these guys had and I'm talking to them for the first time. These are the things I'm going to be looking for. But we already know that he's lying. So, you know, it's kind of like preaching to the choir. But these are the things that people do when they're being deceptive, right? This guy is 100% deceptive, 100%. And you didn't need to know that he was being deceptive to know that he's being deceptive. Let's keep going.
When you got back home after school, was Jennifer home at that time?
I think she was on her way home. I think that she had a blood appointment, and we were both kind of going to arrive very shortly with some time with each other.
Okay. So when you got home, when both of you got home, walk me through the rest of the day.
Liz says she used to be a death investigator. What does that mean? Are you a homicide investigator? Are you like with the coroner's office? I'm curious. Is that what they call it in a different country? Give us some more information, Liz. You know, I love my comment section. I love learning about you guys. Guys, please hit that like button. Please hit that like button. Support the channel. Hit the like button. We're not asking because of our egos. We just want to get into that algorithm so that the show can reach a wider audience. Please show love to the channel.
Just hung out, chit-chatted. I mean, I don't know. It's not much to recollect.
But you stayed at home pretty much all day, or no?
Pretty much until maybe noonish or 1 o'clock. I had a few errands to run, but I wanted to be back in time for us to go. So I just ran up and down 192. I ended up getting a flat at some point, which made me late to get.
Where'd you get a flat at?
Somewhere along 192.
192 is a big road.
It is, and honestly, it all looks the same to me. So I've been asked, do you remember what plaza you were next to, what color? And I'm like, I'm ADD as it is, and I was in a medicated fog for the better part of a week. I'm lucky I remember what color I'm wearing right now.
Do you remember what errands you were running?
Yeah, I wanted to go check out some game shops.
Where were these game shops?
There's Coliseum of Comics, there's House Rule Games nearby. A lot of the Targets and Walmarts carry the game I was looking forward to. We just had a new release on Friday, so even though I don't have my...
All right, I might have to skip ahead a little bit because we kind of heard this before, just going through it. One more thing, I'm not going to go off on a tangent, but I just had to block somebody because they say, hey, you're talking too much. And I respect that, but we do have a zero tolerance for trolling here. Once again, you might be a good person, I don't know, but if you want to hear this without any commentary, you should go to Grizzly True Crimes channel. This is what we're using for no commentary. As I said in the beginning of the show, we're going to be stopping every couple of seconds so I can give my commentary. So if you're in the comments saying, well, I'm talking so much, then you're being disrespectful because I've already explained to you what the purpose of this show is. So I'm sorry, I'm not going to unblock you because I think you were very rude, but if you want to hear this without commentary, please go support Grizzly True Crime. She's got a great channel, and she's offering this without any commentary. If you hear because you want to hear me interrupt this and give my point of view. All right, guys, let's keep going. Let me see if I can find where the meat and potatoes are of this. Aki was nice enough to timestamp it for me, and I want to get to the crushes. So we're going to get to the crushes now. Let's just fast forward just a little bit. And let's see what we got over here. Crushes should be a couple minutes from now. I put it a little bit back so that we can walk into it.
I'm sorry?
Was everything in trash bags, or was there any items that were just tossed along with the bag?
I think it would have been trash bags or maybe some...
All right, this is good. I'm bring back a little bit because they're talking about him disposing of Maddy's belongings. So we're going to go to 4 minutes. Let's go.
Asleep. She's just reclined in the chair sleeping.
Okay, explain to me, like reclining backwards?
Just laying back in the chair.
Mm-hmm.
Just like that, I guess.
Okay. All right. Stephan here. I'm too old to lie to people. Too old to beat around the bush. And we seem like we're having a generally good conversation right now. Okay. The only thing that I ask for from you is and I will reciprocate. I want you to be honest with me as much as I'm being honest with you. Okay. There's cameras in all over the place, as you can imagine. Nowadays, cameras are everywhere. Okay. So we see you coming in at the guard shack. Okay. We see you go by the dumpster. Okay.
Yeah. He's
I
thinking.
may have taken some trash with me then.
Now he's thinking about the new lie. How's he going to explain this one? And now they're starting the interrogation part. They started off with an interview. It's always been an interrogation, but it felt like an interview. Rehash what you told us before, and now it's going to go to the interrogation. It already started. Big shout out to Jeanette Rodriguez, who's a white shield now. Appreciate you for joining the channel. And somebody up here gave a 5-person, here we go, Tony Ella with a 5-person gift membership. Everybody who got a gift membership from Tony, please thank Tony and show that love. So now let's get into this interrogation. Let's listen to his corny excuse.
What was in the trash?
House trash.
House trash?
Yeah. So it must have been that morning then. We'll toss trash bags on the back seat, and wherever we're going on our way out, we'll drop that on the way. I think I may have mentioned to her before. I'll have to double check.
Okay. Was everything in trash bags?
I'm sorry?
Was everything in trash bags, or was there any items that were just tossed along with the bag?
I think it would have been trash bags or maybe some boxes too.
Okay.
Some birthday stuff, leftovers. I can't remember exactly what.
Okay. When you for school,
I mean, he treated Maddy like, I mean, I hate to say it, but it's going to sound terrible, but he treated her like house trash. Like when you talk to these guys and you listen to these guys, sometimes like they say what they mean and they mean what they say. And sometimes what they mean something else, if that makes any sense to you. But to me, his subconscious, that's how he felt about Maddy, man. That's just my opinion. All right, let's keep going.
did she have her backpack with her?
Yes.
She did. Did she have her school computer with her?
Yes. Presumably, yes.
Presumably. Okay.
She should have.
Yeah. So he's knowing you're lying. He clarified. I should have. So she had a backpack. He knows he's being set up now. He knows. The problem is can you come up with an answer that makes sense? Because you know that they know more than what they know. So did she have her backpack? Oh my God, he got me. Ah, God, they got me. Yeah, she had, well, she should have. But remember, when he was allowed to rant and just tell his story, he said he remembered her going to her book bag and wrestling for some earphones. He assumed she was reaching for earphones and all that stuff. He's putting the book bag on the child and actually identifying actions that she did with the book bag. So now he can't walk that back. He can't say, oh, no, I was mistaken. She didn't have a book bag. He knows that they're cornering him. Let's see how he's handling it. This is excellent interview interrogations to let you guys know this is how you're supposed to do it. Now, am I still with a very straight man crush on Detective Kevin with nothing but respect? That's nothing else? Yeah, I got a professional straight man crush on Detective Kevin because he's the beast. I'm loving Detective Kevin, but these guys are doing a good job too. They're doing a good job. Let's keep going.
Once again, this goes back with the whole honesty thing. There was things in that trash bag that got thrown away that probably shouldn't have been thrown away. Okay. What? We'll get that in a minute. But right now, our main focus is on finding. That is our number one focus right now. Okay. Do you have any idea where she may be?
No.
None whatsoever.
No.
Do you know? Okay. And sounds like and something may have happened. Do you think any?
All right, so now they're going to get real accusatory. They're getting down to the nitty gritty. Let's see how Stephan takes it. Now he's making eye contact because now he knows this is the moment. He knows this is the moment. He's looking at him. His heart is in his in his pants right now. His heart is in his stomach right now. Let's see how he handles it.
I don't think so. I don't think what could have happened.
Okay. All right. Do you know anybody that lives in St. Cloud? Do you know where St. Cloud is?
St. Cloud, that's north or south or
East.
east?
East of Kissimmee.
Yeah. I haven't been out there too much, but yeah, I'm familiar with St. Cloud.
Okay. Whereabouts in St. Cloud? Like, do you know friends out there, or?
So somebody asks why they have two detectives usually in these interviews. It's not always. It's not always. But when you have a high-profile interview, most of the time it's going to be one detective, to be honest with you. Some places may have policies where they have two. But when you have a high-profile interview, what you're going to have is a lead detective. And you're going to have somebody who's more in a supportive role. And that supportive role person is going to be experienced enough to understand that when that lead detective is on a roll, you just be quiet. All right? You allow the lead detective to develop the rapport, etc., with the subject. You let them do their thing. But there are times where the lead detective who's doing the line of questioning may lose the subject. Maybe the subject doesn't click with them. Maybe they're starting to butt heads. Maybe the subject is shutting down. All these different emotions could be coming from the subject. Then you have that supportive detective who can now come in and change the temperature of the room. They could take over. Maybe they're going to be more nicer to the subject. Maybe they're going to be more understanding. Maybe they might come in and be the bad cop. Maybe the whole strategy of the lead detective was to be the good cop, but that's not working. So now you need somebody to come in to be the bad cop. When you see that the supportive detective is not saying anything, that means that he doesn't need to say anything. The lead detective has it covered. He's managing the interview. The subject or the witness or whoever is answering the questions. Everything is going smoothly. Part of being a professional, being experienced, is knowing when not to talk. And that's a hard thing. A lot of people who are new to the business, they don't know when not to talk. And they feel like they have to say something. And sometimes that could throw off the lead detective, that could throw off the interview in general. But these guys are homicide guys. So they're the most experienced detectives that are in this game. When we listen to these field interviews, a lot of those field interviews are being done by secondary, let me not say secondary. You know, detective is a detective. But they might be newer detectives, they might work for units that aren't handling these heavy type of cases. But these guys who are speaking to Madaline, God rest her soul, speaking to Jenn Soto, speaking to Stephan, these are homicide guys and sex crimes guys. These are the creme de la creme. These are the most experienced detectives, and that's why you see them knowing when to talk, when not to talk. You see the body language of the detective. This is perfect right here. You see how close he is? His leg is almost touching Stephan Stearns. I don't know if you can see it down there on the bottom of the screen. Look how closely his legs are to Stephan Stearns. Now he's leaning over and he's getting into Stephan's personal space. He's not getting into his space enough that a defense attorney could say, look, Your Honor, clearly this interview should be thrown out because the officer was clearly intimidating my client. He's close enough that he's in Stephan's space to the fact where Stephan has to now lean back to get away from the detective. But he's far enough that it can't be argued in court later that he's intimidating him. He's so close that he's about to make contact with his leg with Stephan. This is textbook interview and interrogation. Throwing the suspect off balance, making them nervous, getting into their space, taking away their power. Guys like Stephan is all about power. Rape is all about power. What is this detective doing? He's taking Stephan Stern's power away. Why else would you mess with a underage prepubescent child? If you did not want power, or at least power is not a part of that desire. Of course, there's also the attraction, etc. We know the whole psychology of the pedos. We know that. But power is a part of it. Control is a part of it. He's taking this guy's control away. He's taking his power away. And that's excellent interview interrogation skills. Let's keep going. Before I go, let me just acknowledge the super chat. 499 super chat from CBC says, Jen gave SS Dad the need for an attorney for Dad to warn SS he probably was obtained while this was going on by Dad, or was it just the PD? PD doesn't get you an attorney. You only get an attorney when you go to court. If you don't already have one, you get one assigned to you when you get arraigned. I'm pretty sure he didn't even know he had an attorney. All you have to do is ask for an attorney. You don't have to have one waiting. If you just ask for attorney, that means that the conversation has to stop. Then interrogation is over. And whether you actually have one or not, it doesn't matter. One will be afforded to you at a later time, but that's basically the code word for stop. That's the constitutional word for no more questioning. So the moment you say, I want an attorney, it doesn't matter if you have one or not. That is the constitutional code word for you are no longer able to constitutionally interview me. If you interview me any further, you're violating my constitutional rights. Let's keep going.
I don't have any friends really. I've driven out there a few times before, mostly just when I'm meandering up and down 192.
Were you out there this week?
Yeah, I was out there sometime this week. Sometimes I drive.
Somebody said congrats on 70K. I reached 70K already? That'd be surprise news to me. I'll take a look in a second.
I meander around and explore and drive till I don't know where I am and drive till I know where I am again. And I don't know, just driving it's peaceful sometimes.
All right.
If I got time to kill, I'll just drive around.
So you're saying...
I hate to stop you here. I hate when he says time to kill. He constantly says that. How can you use that terminology knowing that you murdered a child? It's almost sadistic to me. It really is. I hate when he says that. Like, why didn't he use different terminology? You know what you did, but you keep saying time to kill.
When she had her backpack, presumably her school computer was in her backpack, and you described her wearing a green jacket, some kind of dark colored shorts, and white Crocs. Okay. Well, I can confidently tell you she did not go to school with her backpack.
How's that?
Because we found it in the trash. So, Stephan, here's what I'm asking you and pleading with you is to dig down and do some soul searching. Okay? You understand?
One thing that I noticed that these detectives didn't do, and listen, it's their styles. I'm not there, so I'm just telling you what I would probably consider doing, but I'm not critiquing them because this is a huge interview, and they chose the style that they wanted to proceed with. But I would have tried to implore to him, and it probably may not would have worked, but I would try to implore to his sensibilities and say, hey, listen, man, maybe not at this point, but at some point, this is serious. And the death penalty might be on the table. And this is an opportunity for you to show that, and use a little bit of the read technique. can't use the read technique, 100%. It's not going to work. But you can incorporate parts of it into your interview interrogation with other parts. And I would basically say, hey, listen, this is the time for you to show that, you have a heart, that you really cared about Maddy by giving closure. And, you look like a monster right now. You see that a lot in interviews. It does work. It works. I noticed that they didn't take that approach, and maybe they just felt like it wouldn't have worked, and maybe it probably wouldn't have worked. But I just felt like looking at him right now, he looks like a ghost. The bomb is being dropped on him right now. And I think this is a good opportunity to kind of steer him away from the games and say, we know we found her body, man. Oh no, actually, I don't think they found her body at this point. I think they just had to see Sam at this point, and later on, like an hour or two later, is when they'll find the body or something to that effect. But we know what you were doing, okay? And right now, you are the prime suspect. This is your opportunity to try and salvage your reputation. This is an opportunity to show if you truly love this little girl and give this closure. The DA is going to watch this. You know this. You've seen TV before. You know that this is being recorded. The district attorney, the county attorney is going to watch this. What do you think they're going to feel if they look at you and they see you have no remorse whatsoever? This is the time to show that you're remorseful. This is the time to show that you made a mistake and you're man enough to own up to it. I think I would have tried and take that approach. Would it have been successful? I don't know. I have no idea whatsoever. But I would have tried that approach. Let's keep going.
Family's pleading with you. I'm pleading with you because this is that we need to find. And it's, as more time goes by, it's tough. I have kids. He's got kids. And this little girl's out there somewhere that we need to know where.
I'm sorry. They said they found her 2 days later. My apologies on that. My apologies. Let's keep going. Appreciate you guys, though. Appreciate you.
And I really, really, really think you can help us. I mean, you want to get something off your chest. I don't know what it is, but I'm pleading with you.
Yeah, no. Let me stick with my gut here. I believe. No, her body was found that day. I'll tell you why her body was found that day. Sometimes I got to not listen to the chat. I want to, but we're all learning this together, and all of our facts could be off a little bit because there's so much information. But I've done a lot of research on this, so there's a lot in my brain, and it's easy when you have 20 people saying, no, you're wrong, for you to second guess yourself. They had a press conference later. It's like an hour later, they had a press conference. They knew they were going to arrest him because they had to see Sam. But they had the press conference later, and during the press conference, a witness who saw him broken down in that area where the body was dumped called up and said, hey, I remember seeing this guy in this area. And so they went out there the same day and they found Maddy. So guys, you're just wrong this time. It's all good. But she was found later on today, all right? Let's keep going.
What happened?
I dropped her off.
Mm-hmm. Where?
I dropped her off on the road to school. That was the last I saw her.
Sometime throughout the night on Sunday, did you guys have any interaction?
All right, one last time I'll stop, only for accuracy. We're all kind of confused on the date. We'll figure it out later, guys. No worries. There's something called the comment section. We can easily correct it and put it for everybody to know. Forget about when her body was found, guys. Let's just move on. That's not more important than her body being found. But right now, we want to focus on this guy's body language. And I'm kind of feeling bad that I'm stopping the show so much for this topic, but also don't want to be inaccurate and mislead the audience. So we will clarify when the body was found at a later date. I apologize, guys. All right, so let me bring it back just a little bit so we can see this body language, all right?
I don't.
What happened?
I dropped her off.
Mm-hmm. Where?
I dropped her off on the road to school. That was the last I saw her.
sometime throughout the night on Sunday, did you guys have any interaction, conversations?
What, like fight?
No, I'm not saying fight. I'm just. Did you guys sit up and talk, or?
All right, so there we go. I know what it is, okay? Jenn's interview was March 1st, right? That was Jenn's interview. We got a little confused because this interview came after Grizzly True Crime dropped the March 1st interview. So she played the March 1st interview, and then she played this one afterwards. This is the February 28th interview. I'm sorry, I was mistaken. I thought this was a March 1st interview. I apologize for that. So this was a February 28th interview. Maddy's body was found on March 1st. So that was 2 days or something like that, a day or two. I don't know if it's a leap year or whatever, but that was after this interview was done. So that is the definitive answer for this. This is a February 28th interview. And how it dawned on me is I looked at the very, very bottom, which you guys can't see because I'm blocking it. So on the bottom, it has interview room OPS-1, Cam 1, 2024-2-28 at 1944 hours. So her body was found on March 1st. This interview was done on the 28th. Okay, guys? So thanks a lot for the chat, for keeping us honest and making sure that we get it right the first time. Well, we didn't get it right the first time, but make sure we eventually got it right. It's just a little bit confusion on when this date occurred. Let's keep going.
We talked while I was making ramen. She was excited about her choir performance coming up. She was singing.
Somebody made a good point, and I'm going to get in trouble, Aki, for stopping again. But we're all on Stephan Stern's time. We're all time blind, and we're all zonked out right now. So all of us have an excuse because we're all zonked out and on Stephan Stern's time. Let's keep going.
A little bit. I told her it was pretty. It reminded me of Sister Act. That's why I wanted to show her that movie. Just talking about a crush she had on the boy.
Oh, nope. See? You guys over here taking me off course. Listen to that. The crushes. Let's go back to the crushes. Let's go back to the crushes on this nasty dude.
We need to know where. And I really, really, really think you can help us. Okay. I mean, you want to get something off your chest. I don't know what it is, but I'm pleading with you.
I don't know. I don't.
What happened?
I dropped her off.
No, you didn't.
Where?
I dropped her off on the road to school. That was the last I saw her.
Did sometime throughout the night on Sunday, did you guys have any interaction, conversations?
I bet you he's sweating bricks underneath that hat, just like I am right now. He is sweating bricks. I bet you. He's super nervous right now. So what happened Sunday? Let's see.
What, like fight?
No, I'm not saying fight. I'm just. Did you guys sit up and talk, or?
We talked while I was making ramen. She was excited about her choir performance coming up. She was singing a little bit. I told her it was pretty. It reminded me of Sister Act. That's why I wanted to show her that movie. Just talking about a crush she had on the boy.
Yo, did you see that? Did you see that body language when he said crushing on a boy? Talking about crushing on a boy or crushes on a boy? Did you see his body language? What are we at, 409:29? Let me bring back just a second. 22.
Show her that movie. Just talking about a crush she had on the boy.
Wow, that's disgust. That is absolute disgust right there. Maddy was his woman. Maddy was his property. That is disgust. That is jealousy of a 12, 13-year-old boy. That is straight disgust that we just saw from him. This guy was through and through a pedophile. Through and through. He literally viewed her as though she was his girlfriend. He is truly a pedophile. It's unbelievable. I mean, as a grown man, and for you folks who are watching this, for us to see the reaction of this man when talking about a 12-year-old girl who just turned 13. I'm calling her 12 because to me, if you 13 for 4 or 5 days, that doesn't mean you 13. Basically, a 12-year-old girl, he's talking about her crushes with so much vigor, anger, and vitriol, he can't even contain himself in front of police officers who he is aware of is gunning for his freedom, for his very life. He can't contain himself because the thought of Madaline Soto with her little immature heart having a liking for a boy her age, oh well, ladies and gentlemen, that's too much to bear for good old Stephan Stearns. That's too much. His little heart can't take it because she belongs to him. This is shameful, man. It's disgusting. It really is. It's not even shameful. It's disgusting. It's unnatural. Let's keep going.
How'd that make you feel?
Fine. She knows she's not old enough to date, but
Wow, I didn't see this, guys. Aki sent me the timestamp. I didn't see it. I'm seeing this for the first time. I was doing members only, and I was doing Patreon videos today. I didn't have time to go through this, so I said, Aki, can you do the timestamps for me? She sent me the timestamps. This is my first time seeing this. Do you see that? Huh. She's too young to be dating. She's too young to be thinking about boys. We didn't see nothing from this guy before that. What we saw was a statue. I didn't do nothing. I didn't take her anywhere. I just brought her to school. I know where she's at. And then when he's talking about her crushes, she's too young for all of that. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. Let's keep going.
I told her, crush on. Get your crush, that's healthy.
Do you think, had she had any boyfriends in the past?
Not per se, boyfriends as however they can be early on, but we decided that she was too young, needed to avoid that BS.
All right, being that
She needs to avoid that BS. Has he talked like that for this entire interview? Why would he talk like that? Who cares about a 13-year-old having a crush? Who cares? That's not real. Unless those kids are being abused or they have like really disruptive home lives, they're not even kissing, they're not doing nothing. A crush, a date for 12 and 13-year-olds is we're just talking and texting on the phone. That's it. Nothing else is happening for most normal, properly raised children that age. Why is he talking like that? He's talking like she's 16 years old. He's afraid of her getting pregnant. And, he wants her to just focus on school and stuff like that. This is a 12, 13-year-old, and you could clearly see the vitriol in his voice, the jealousy in his face. It's terrible. And Taunton he said, get your crush on. I heard that. He's trying to make it seem flippant, like it doesn't matter to me. But his body language is speaking volumes, ladies and gentlemen. His body language is speaking volumes. Let's keep going.
she's too young, so she shouldn't be having sex with boys. You're saying?
She's
And the detective purposely threw that in because he knows that Stephan Stearns is having sex with her. So he's trying to put Stephan in a moral conundrum, but Stephan has no morality. Stephan doesn't have a moral compass. He's long since got over that. That was a burden for him. His moral compass was a burden for him. He's long since thrown that away. So his attempts, the detective's attempts, will hit a brick wall because he has no moral compass. Let's listen to see how he responds to that. Let's bring it back. We're at 410. Let's go back to 409.
ramen. She was excited about her choir performance coming up. She was singing a little bit. I told her it was pretty. It reminded me of Sister Act. That's why I wanted to show her that movie. Just talking about a crush she had on the boy.
How'd that make you feel?
Fine. She knows she's not old enough to date, but I told her crush on. Get your crush. That's healthy.
Do you think, had she had any boyfriends in the past?
Not per se, boyfriends as however they can be early on, but we decided that she was too young. Needed to avoid that BS.
All right, being that she's too young, so she shouldn't be having sex with boys. You're saying?
She's all the that stuff. None of it counts. None of it's real. I just told her she'd be better off waiting until high school.
Mm-hmm. Has she ever talked to you about boys?
A little bit sometimes. A little bit.
Has she ever, because I asked Jennifer the same thing, has she ever disclosed to you about being sexually active with boys?
No.
Do you know if she's ever been sexually active with anybody in the past?
Not that I'm aware of.
You see the pause right there? He's trying to figure out how to answer that. Wow, let's keep going.
I heard there was some sort of incident when she was much younger where
You know, I wish he would have explained that incident, because he keeps using this as his excuse for having CSAM on his phone. I don't even know why he would even take this direction. It would probably been better from him from a legal standpoint not to say anything about it, period. But he keeps saying there was an incident when she was young, with situation with a phone. But if you know that you've taken over 1,700 pictures throughout the course of time, from her being a little girl at 8 years old when the pictures start, all the way up to when she was, I think there might have been pictures of that night when she was killed. There might possibly be pictures up to that night, or at the very least up to 12 years old. At the very least, we'll say at most till 13, but at the very least until 12 years old, from 8 to 12. If you know you have all of those photos, what good is it going to be to say, hey, you know, there was an incident when she was 6 or 12 or 8 or whatever? I don't know. How's that going to explain 1,700 pictures? It doesn't make any sense.
she did something with the phone or a camera, but got scolded for it. She was very young. She didn't know. She got scolded for it, though. But that's vague. It's just remembering what someone said offhand.
All right.
Yeah, somebody in the chat made a good point. Jessica London, she said there's definitely photos, and I should know this because I remember reading it. There's definitely photos of Madaline of that night, because they did describe the clothes that not only Madaline was wearing, but that Stephan Stearns was wearing, also the sheets, etc. That's when the crime scene came back, they were being guided by the photos that were obtained from the phone to identify things that were in the room to take it as evidence. So yes, all the way up until she died, there was photos. And the only reason why Stephan Stearns was pulling that camera out was when he was abusing. So I think it's safe to say that he was abusing Maddy on the night that he killed her. So from 8 years old to 13 years old, there's a catalog of abuse CSAM photos from this man, and yet he's using this one instant from God knows when as an excuse as to why there was an incident that I don't really know what he's trying to tie it into. Let's keep going.
What happened in your hand?
Flat tire. I haven't changed a flat tire in about 10 years, so I made a rookie mistake and had my thumb too close to where the jack and the frame meet, and it slipped, and the frame came down on my thumb and pinned it between the jack, which I feel like I got off surprisingly light with that.
Ouch.
I yanked it free. You're not supposed to do that. It looks okay. It's got the worst of it. Some bruising under the nail.
What about the other scratches?
You know, he loves talking about himself. You know, he knows that they're asking about these scratches because they're concerned about defense wounds, etc. He knows this stuff. But, you know, he can never pass up an opportunity to show pity for himself. So you see how animated he is now, descriptive. Oh, you know, the tire fell on my hand and da-da-da-da, and these scratches are from here, there, and there. It's a pity party when it comes to Stephan Stearns.
Courtesy of a janky tire iron and the road.
Did you bleed at all?
Yeah, this one had some blood and this one had some blood, but not much. It clotted fast.
Do you know what popped your tire at all?
I have no idea. Tire just started going floppy and then
Pretty worn out or
way
something?
floppier and then just completely freaking separated. Thank God we had a spare and a jack. janky as it was.
So typically when changing a tire and stuff, you tend to get brake dust and dirty and all that.
Yeah,
Did you happen to?
positive that I breathed in some freaking brake dust or tire dust or something because I was coughing the rest of the afternoon.
What'd you end up doing to clean up or stop the bleeding and stuff?
Nothing, actually. Just
You
went
didn't get
home
too dirty?
and washed my hands, and that was it.
Your clothes get all messed up at all, or?
Not bad, surprisingly.
What were you wearing, by chance?
This. So I think I'm still wearing this. I'm still wearing the same clothes.
Oh, so you kept pretty clean.
Try to, I guess.
You weren't wearing a red shirt?
I was wearing a red shirt early in the morning, but I changed clothes later because that shirt was been a couple days old at that point. And the flat tire happened after that.
What's our time? We're at an hour right now. Let me see if we can fast forward a little bit. It's more.
Rated. We got pictures of that. All sorts of pictures. Family events.
All right, so this is where they asked him about pictures, like if he has pictures of Maddy. So now he's going to try and, smooth it out. I took pictures, we went to Disney and stuff like that.
Not as much of a shutter button. Take them every once in a while.
All right, so the video is going to end soon in terms of the interview is going to end soon. And then I'm going to fast forward to when they come and they do their crime scene.
Any other pictures you can think of? Here's where I'm going to be brutally honest with you. There's your phone.
And this was one thing I wouldn't say. I wouldn't say I'm going to be brutally honest with you. You don't need to set them up. That's a setup statement. I would have just said in a low tone, I was like, Stephan. And I'd look at him and I'd make contact. I might tap him on the leg so he can make contact with me. I'd be like, Stephan. Might put my hand on his leg. Straight men don't really like that. I'm a straight man. I don't want nobody touching me. No man to touch me. I always feel wary when a man touches me. It feels kind of weird. Maybe it's just my toxic masculinity. I don't know. Nobody's perfect, right? So I know how I feel if a guy touches me. I'm going to use that to my advantage, and I'm going to assume that another guy is going to feel the same way. Whether they feel that way or not, doesn't matter. I'm going to touch his leg. I'm going to say, Stephan, look at me. And I'm going to say in a low tone, I'm going to say, Stephan, we found the pictures. We know what you did to Maddy, Stephan. That's what I would say. I wouldn't give a setup question and say, or a statement and say, I'm going to be brutally honest with you. No, I want to set the tone. And I'm just going to jump right into it. I'm going to hit him with it with a ton of bricks. And then I'm going to tell you what I'm saying after he says what he says. Watch this. See, he nods. This is really good because he wants this guy to mirror him. That's what guilty people do oftentimes. So that was really good as a detective because, yeah, he set it up and he said it, but then he nodded. And what did Stephan do? Stephan nodded too. What happens next?
And I'm pretty sure you know what some of those pictures are about.
And once again, I wouldn't have taken this approach. What he's doing is not wrong. Stylistic. I wouldn't have said, I'm pretty sure you know what those. I would have said, we have pictures of you having sex with Maddy, Stephan. I would have just hit him with it like that hard. I'd have leaned in. I might have touched his leg. I'd have made straight eye contact with him, and I would have told him that. Let's keep going.
You're a very intelligent person. And I don't want you to discredit yourself by saying you don't know about all the pictures that are on your phone. You understand what I'm saying?
See, he's nodding. He's saying yes. This could be used against him in court. This is an admission of guilt. He's saying yes. Remember, you have to convince 12 reasonable people. You have to convince 12 people who have been deemed worthy enough to serve on a jury from different backgrounds. Reasonable people would assume that if somebody's accusing you of having CSAM on your phone with Madaline Soto, you never touched Maddy, you'd be like, I don't know, what pictures you talking about? A lot of times these perps think that the silence is not an admission of guilt. Silence can be an admission of guilt. I've given you a direct question or statement, and you respond to me with silence and a head nod. You have admitted to me that you understand what I'm saying, and you are not refuting it. This can be used against him in court. Is it as good as a confession saying, I did it, I'm sorry? Of course not. But it's probative. It's something for a jury to decide on, to process. What do you think a jury's going to say when you say, Stephan, we got CSAM on your phone, and you're like, I don't want you to discredit yourself and say it's not there and act like you don't know it's there, Stephan, and you're like, that's an admission. There's levels to this, baby. Let's keep going.
So do you want to add to the list of pictures?
So now you got him defeated. This is one of two places that you can now put in that interview interrogation style that I talked about earlier, where you try and implore to his humanity. And it's not always going to work because some people lack humanity. Some people are not supposed to be amongst us. They don't belong in society. If you want to spend $1 gajillion housing them and feeding them and giving them health care until they die at the ripe old age of 103, that's your business. It's up to the taxpayers and it's up to the states to decide that. If you want to put them in an electric chair and end them quickly, that's your business as well. But regardless of what you decide to do with the person, some people are not meant to be out in society. Stephan Stearns is one of those people. Unfortunately, to say that, he's one of those people. But this is an opportunity to try that suggestion that I gave. Would you be successful? I don't know. But at this moment, when you're like, you want to add to that? And he's like, I don't know. This is the time to say, come on, man. Show us your humanity. The other time is coming up, and I'm going to show you.
Should I be talking with a lawyer right now?
This is the other time. When he says, should I be talking to a lawyer? That is not invoking an attorney. I'm going to pretend I didn't hear that. I'm going to say, or I'm going to acknowledge it to a certain extent. I'm going to say, listen, I can't give you legal advice, man, but what I can tell you is you need to show people that you're a human being and you're not a monster. And I'm going to start talking to him about that. It is not the job of a detective, investigator, police officer, or whoever to decide for you when you need an attorney. You were read your rights. You said yes. He was read his rights before this interview happened. I hope they did, because we did skip, because if they had this interview with him and they didn't read him his rights, this interview is not admissible in court. Because they know going into this room that he's a perpetrator, that they're going to arrest him. They know he's in custody. Whether he knows it or not, they know he's in custody, so they got to give him Miranda. But it is not their job to decide whether he needs an attorney right now. So if you ask me a question, to me that's a dumb question, because I already explained to you your rights. So that's a dumb question. I don't have to acknowledge it. I'm going to keep pushing. Now, nobody look at this, oh, see how you do. No, this is all recorded. If you push too hard, you push wrong, you're going to pay for it later in court. When they throw out that confession, they throw out that statement. It's all stylistic as well. There's nothing that this detective did but saying, I don't know, why are you asking me? He's also telling you what I'm telling you. Like, he can't tell you whether you need an attorney. It's not his job to tell you if you need an attorney. You were read your rights and you understand your rights. You decide when you need an attorney. But by him going, I don't know, he took the air out the room. He should have kept pushing. He should have kept pushing. Let's keep going. See? Watch this. And then he's silent. I can't answer that question. And he's stopping. He's putting the ball back in Stephan Stearns' corner on the topic of attorney. No. Redirect him. Hey, listen, man, I can't give you legal advice, but what about Maddy, man? What about her? Did you love Maddy? Yes, I loved her. Did you care about her? Yes, I love her. So prove it. Give her peace. Did you love Jenn? I kind of loved her so I could get access to Maddy, but I guess you could call that love. So give her absolution. Give her the truth. You keep pushing. They did nothing wrong. I'm just giving you stylistic advice. That's it. This is not a critique. It's just stylistic advice.
My sole purpose right now is to see if I can find, and I'm really hoping you can help me.
Okay, well, I'd like to try to help, but I feel like I should probably have a lawyer present at this point.
So you're wanting an attorney?
Yeah, I think so.
Right.
Okay.
So it's over now. Constitutionally, it's over. Let me go back for a second and just process that last few seconds. Just want to process the last few seconds.
I don't know. Should I be talking with a lawyer right now?
I can't answer that question. My sole purpose right now is to see if I can find, and I'm really hoping you can help me.
Okay, well, I'd like to try to help, but I feel like I should probably have a lawyer present at this point.
So you're wanting an attorney?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
All right, so that's good enough to invoke. Yeah, I think so. He asked him a direct question. He said, yeah, I think so. That's an invoking of your right to counsel. So the interview is over. It's done. The only thing you ask him moving forward is, hey, you want something to drink? You got to use the bathroom? You want to make a phone call? You can't ask him anything accusatory. You can ask him his name, his date of birth, his address, stuff like that. Like, hey, what's your address? Whatever. Where you working at? You got a job? Whatever. As long as the job is not linked to the crime or something like that, you can ask him these things. These pedigree stuff you can ask him, but you can't ask him about the crime anymore. It's over. It's pretty much done. Let's keep going.
That can happen. I want to let you know you're not free to leave. You're being detained, okay?
Yeah, at this point, he's being arrested. He's not being detained. Sweet, as Taboo is now is now a patrol member. I'm like losing my mind over here. Thank you so much for supporting the channel and joining the family, Sweet as Taboo. Really do appreciate you guys. Once again, we have a membership, one of the best deals for the memberships on YouTube. And we also have the Patreon. And the Patreon is where I put all the stuff I can't put on YouTube. If it's too violent or whatever, I can't put it on YouTube. I get in trouble with YouTube. I get a strike, content strike, community strike, all that good stuff. I don't want to deal with that. Dealt with that a lot in the past. I don't want to deal with it anymore. So we're putting all those videos on Patreon. But we're showing love to both platforms. Members get exclusive content. Patreon get exclusive content too. So consider joining one or the other or both if you want the full experience of the Strategic Eyes Show. I appreciate you guys. Let's keep going.
Do you want to know what you're being detained for? Capital sexual battery and possession of child pornography.
Wow.
Okay. So we're going to step out. If you need anything, please tap on this door. Okay? And there's going to be detectives outside that will be able to assist you.
Okay.
Perfect. So now what we're going to do is we're going to fast forward a little bit. Let me bring it back to me. Bring it back to me real quick, guys. We're going to fast forward. I'm going to keep that up. I want to show you something, guys. I want to show you something. I want to show you beautiful people something. So we did this on August 27th, before all these documents were dumped. This is a show I did on jealousy and on his crushes. All right. So I'm going to go and pull this up real quick for you guys. You guys are awesome. Thanks a lot for joining me. We have 500. Let's see where it start from the beginning. Let me see here. Either one is a crime, really. But I also want to address one more thing before we get started with T. Is not capable of giving back and solving. Actually, I'm sorry. 3 weeks later, she decides to come forward to the cops. All right, forget it. I actually thought I had the timestamp for it, but this is a video that I did in August 27. I think you guys should go ahead and check this out. This is where I talked about the jealousy and the crushes that I believe resulted in the death of Madaline Soto. I think it's a really good video, and I think it's very relevant now because we're seeing the evidence of two things. There's two videos that I put out that had my 2 theories on why Madaline is no longer with us. And one of them is the crushes, the fact that she had started to like other boys and he did not like that. And the other one is the possibility of pregnancy. And these are 2 themes that detectives keep harping on. They keep bringing up in these interviews. Pregnancy. The last interview from 3-1 that was done with Jenn Soto, they talked about pregnancy tests. They asked her, are any of your pregnancy tests missing that you had in the house? Did you find any in the trash? These are very pointed questions. These are questions you're only going to ask if you really believe that they're probative to the case. So I implore you, if you're interested in understanding this case from my perspective, go back to those videos, watch them if you haven't watched them already, and take it in. All right, let me bring you guys back in, and we're going to go over to the part where Stephan Stearns, his body of lies is quite literally exposed, ladies and gentlemen. Literally exposed. Everything has been redacted. There will be no naked bodies of this man. He does have some weird scars on his belly. I don't know if it's as a result of some type of gastric bypass surgery or deformity. I don't really know what it is. Does look a little bit weird. You guys be a judge for yourself. I'm not making fun of him. I'm not body shaming him. I'm just not about that world, but I'm just trying to prepare you for what you will see. You will not see his privates. That's been edited out quite successfully by Grizzly True Crime. But at the same time, you will see his stomach and this stuff going on there. Somebody said he had a sleeve or something like that. I really would imagine that they do a better job than that. But apparently, when you get that kind of procedure done, it leaves you scarred. That sucks. You're probably just better off going on a diet if you can avoid it. And if you're not, and you're like morbidly obese, then you got to do what you got to do for your health. But if it's going to make you look like the way he looks, you know, with his shirt off, with the scars and stuff, I wouldn't personally want to do that to myself. Let's keep going.
County, a sworn written application affidavit search warrant has been made on this date by Detective Moore of the Kissimmee Police Department, assigned to the Criminal Investigations Division. And whereas the facts made known in this application and search warrant, there may be cause to certify and find probable cause to believe that certain evidence, to wit, DNA, genetic.
All right, so they're reading out the search warrant. What I found weird here is that this crime scene people are going to be doing all of this stuff on him. We don't do that in my new municipality. This will be done by a Safe Sane nurse, a nurse who does sex kits, and they're also trained to do this on perpetrators as well. But they're gonna literally strip him down here and take pictures of his privates and swabs and all that stuff inside of an interview room. Now, once again, I'm not judging. It is what it is, and I'm not defending somebody who did something clearly horrible to a little girl. But, you know, I do think that we should have some type of professional standards in the way that we do things. It would appear to me that this type of invasive investigative stuff should probably be done in a medical setting that's sterile, etc. But it's done here. And I know a lot of you guys in the chat is not going to give a damn. But, you know, it's not common practice to have it done the way that it was done here.
So go ahead and stand up. She's going to.
All right, so check this out. See? It looks like he has 3 navels.
ahead and turn around, face the wall. Put your hands behind your back.
Oh, okay. I see that this was really just like it was the lighting. So this is not a nape. This is his belly here. This is his real navel, and this is some type of surgical or some type of wound that he had. So I understand now. You know, I was a little like, what is it? But I get it now. It's not that big of a deal. It is what it is. Watch this.
Your shoes. Here you go.
I wanted to show it so you guys can understand what I saw.
Okay, go ahead and turn around. Face the wall. Put your hands behind your
All right. So it didn't work. But the bottom line is there's no what I saw it was not correct.
back. Put them together like you're praying. There you go, just like that. Go ahead and spread your feet for me. Thank you.
Fast forward a little bit. All right, just want to say it's for YouTube. Everything here has been redacted. There is no nudity whatsoever. There's nothing inappropriate for the remainder of this video for the YouTube gods and the YouTube moderators and the YouTube bots that love to troll my show and demonetize me. This is a perfectly community guideline following video with no cursing and no nudity, no violence. Let's keep going. And it's for educational purposes. I spent this entire live sharing my 18 and a half years of law enforcement knowledge with these beautiful people, dissecting a very newsworthy story that has touched the hearts of people across this world. There's no reason why this video should be demonetized like so many of my other videos. Let's keep going.
Where's my father?
What bag am I gonna put these in once you take them off?
They
The
don't
same
come
as
out.
his
We're
pants.
done.
No, we need them separate.
You need separate?
Yeah.
You
Mara,
have
can
to
you get
take
another brown paper bag from the drawer? What we're gonna do when we take off the boxers is I'm gonna take them off. He's gonna stabilize you to make.
Somebody said I don't look old enough to have 18-ish years. Well, I'm going to put you in on a little secret. Black don't crack.
Sure you don't fall. I don't want the boxers touching the floor at all, so I'm gonna hold them up. You'll remove one leg at a time, just like you did your pants, okay? And then do you have a suit? Okay. We're just waiting on one more bag for your pants. We're trying to keep you exposed for as short a time as possible. Thank you. All right, ready? He's gonna stabilize you. Go ahead, first leg out.
Like, listen, guys, it's like, as a law enforcement officer, these ladies are law enforcement. They're doing crime scene for the sheriff's department. You really got to pay them a lot of money. Like, medical professionals are being compensated to do this work. Like, those safe, sane nurses, they're getting a boatload of money to do these type of examinations and to take the evidence. Like, you got to pay a lot of money. This lady's going to get down on her knees and be inches away from this man's member. The most evilest member that we probably heard about in the last few years. And she's got to swab, and she got to take pictures. You got to do all of that stuff. Like, these ladies better be getting paid good. That's why in other states and municipalities, they make medical professionals do this. Officers are in the room. It's not like he's alone with a nurse. He's handcuffed. He's in the room with law enforcement officers. If they require them to remove a handcuff or something, they'll do that. They'll collect whatever they need. They'll do the examination. They'll swab all the different areas of his body. You got a nurse making $140,000 doing this. Not a forensic sheriff's person in Florida that's probably making like 60 grand doing this. And I'm not making fun of this person's salary. What I'm saying is they're not getting paid enough to do what they're about to do right now.
I'm going to take the belt out of here and put it in. Okay, second leg out. Thank you very much. Alright, there's certain things we're looking for, so we need to find the marks. Okay. Don't do anything squirrely, man. You will eat the carpet. Do you understand? Can you take a picture of that marker too, please?
You got another one under?
Okay. Well, I need like a flashlight or a light or something, please.
Guys, she's making contact with him. I'm not trying to harp on him. I'm not trying to be salacious. I'm just letting you know how invasive this is. That's why we would normally use a medical professional. She's manipulating his member to take pictures. So she's going to lift it up, move it over. She's asking for a flashlight so she can get oblique lighting so she could, I'm using crime scene technician terms because you guys know I'm a certified crime scene technician from way back when, my corrections days. I don't use it anymore because I'm not on the crime scene unit, but back in the days, I used to do crime scene and with corrections. And so she wants a flashlight for oblique lighting. She's going to manipulate his member so she could take pictures of it. Like, I'm surprised that Florida hasn't gotten a ton of lawsuits from perpetrators about this, about them allowing non-medical people to do this type of work on them. I would imagine that somebody probably tried to sue already. Obviously, they didn't win, but I'm curious why they have this policy and they won't just send him to a hospital and have a medical professional do it.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, you're okay.
Can somebody else flash her? It was on this side, right here somewhere.
Okay.
See?
Okay. I don't see it. Can you show me the freckle, please? You know what I'm talking about, Mara?
It's the one he took over there.
That was a freckle?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Your
Sorry.
hands for my Is it on this side, you think? Turn this way for me, please. Face me.
Oh, Lord.
Light on. Right here.
What the fuck? You see how this look? I'm sorry, I can't.
Back the light up a little bit and put it like more towards the center.
You guys know I got a horrible sense of humor. Look at this over here. You guys see the picture that we're looking at right now?
Right there.
You could not pay me enough to do that. I'm sorry.
Flipped. Okay, let's take a picture of this mark right here, please, if we can see that. It could also be on the skin down here when it gets erect. It's like getting...
And somebody said something. Somebody said junk funk. Now, I'm not trying to go crazy here. You guys know my sense of humor can go wild. But Stephen Stearns has said in multiple interviews that he barely showers. He barely showers, guys. Like this guy, oh, I took a shower 3 days ago. Oh, I'm so zonked out. I can't remember. I can't remember the last time I took a shower. I've had this shirt on for 3 weeks. Wow. No good. Let's keep going.
You know what I mean? marks. The like freckle thing right there?
I thought underneath.
Can we take it? Okay. Underneath where?
Do you have those pictures?
Somebody in the chat said that they're forensic nurses, not cops. Well, okay. That's better if they're forensic nurses. That's pretty cool if they're actually employing nurses for their forensics team. But still, though, we still have a venue issue. The venue issue is that this should be done in a sterile environment, which is a hospital room, technically. So if they are forensic nurses, then I get it. All right, that's cool that the sheriff's department actually has, employed these folks. That's actually a step above because most departments don't have forensic nurses as a part of their forensics team. So that's pretty cool. But we still have a venue issue. This was done in an interview and interrogation room. Should have been done in a hospital setting. That's just my opinion. Listen, what do I know? It is what it is. But appreciate you for telling me that.
So we have this one, which I believe is the one that she saw over here.
That's that one.
That's the dark one.
Yeah, you can't really see
Right
too
there.
well with him not being
Oh,
correct.
yeah.
Yeah. The one that we're trying to find is this down here.
Oh, gotcha.
So it might just be.
Let me see how much hair is. Can you zoom into that?
Somebody made a good point. Like maybe you might want to tie your hair back. Like her hair is out. Like one could think that just cross contamination, like maybe your hair fibers could fall. I don't know. It's probably a good idea to have your hair wrapped up though when you're doing this type of work.
It's right where the hairline starts.
Right. Well, do we have a deputy out there with a real flashlight?
No.
See if you think of this skin.
Wow.
It could just be that the hair got thicker.
I could imagine this is very humiliating on his part, but it's like, this is what you did to Maddy. You see how you're exposed right now, how you feel vulnerable, how you feel helpless. This is how this little girl felt for most of her life. For most of her life, this is how this little girl felt. You stole her innocence away. Just like you feel like they're taking your dignity away, you stole her innocence away. And I'm gonna go out on a limb and I'm gonna say her innocence was worth more than your dignity as an adult. So the universe kind of has a way of coming back full circle. And right now we see the universe coming back full circle where a week ago you were in charge. You dictated the terms of Maddy's life. And now a week later, we as a society now dictate the terms of your life. We take your rights away. We put you in cuffs. We give you a choice. Either you're going to stand here and endure what we want to do with you, or we're going to take what we want from you. One way or another, we're going to get what we want. Kind of reminds you of the terms that you probably set with Maddy. Either she's going to give you what you want or you're going to take what you want. It's amazing how the universe comes back full circle. It's amazing. Let's keep going.
Or it could have been Maddy, girl.
Yeah. Oh, we have a freckle.
And then he has freckles on his leg.
Yeah, we can take the birthmark or whatever it is.
Can we take a picture of the other side?
You want to check the pictures before we put clothes on and make sure?
Okay, so we for sure got this one.
Yeah, the black freckle mark.
Yeah, we got that. The other one could be an inline hair. This trimmer. Can we take a picture? Well, we're not able to see it with it not being erect. I don't think there was anything else that
Did we get whatever was under the Band-Aid that you wanted to see?
Did you guys take the Band-Aid off?
I took it off
Can we
earlier
see?
today.
Let's take a, I think.
Let me get the swabs
Wow.
first.
Go ahead.
All right, so we're going to fast forward just a little bit. Guys, please hit that like button. Please hit the like button. Support the channel. Once again, we need you to hit the like button so that we can get into the algorithm. It's the only way. YouTube balances out the amount of people who watch the show versus the amount of people that hit the like button versus the amount of people who contributed in the chat. From that algorithm, that metric, they determine whether they want to show your channel to a wider audience. And this is important to us, all right? Supposedly, we've reached 70,000 subscribers. We couldn't have gotten here without you guys. We appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for your support of the channel. We want to get to 100,000. That's the goal. The goal is getting to 100,000 people, being able to have our message spread far and wide around the world, being able to build this community out, being able to have these amazing conversations with different people from around the world. That's my goal. I want to touch people. I want to reach out and touch you guys digitally. All right. I want to make a difference. I mean, people are hitting me up ready to go fight for the Madaline Soto Act. I don't want to be an influencer. I don't want to be a star. I don't want to be a celebrity. I don't want none of that crap. I just want to be able to come, turn on my computer, and have meaningful conversations with beautiful people like you guys. So please hit that like button so we can make that dream come true, ladies and gentlemen. Let's keep going.
Should be like a flip spot in there if you want.
It's a onesie, yeah.
Oh, hold on. Let's wait a second.
Yeah, as long as his front is covered and
David said, remember when we had 4,000 subs? I remember, David. And I remember you was right there with me too, brother. Appreciate you.
Okay, sorry, we just need to look at your hands again. I don't know if you can view the pictures you already have. I want to make sure that we have this stuff for them to include that scratch.
Did you guys really see his booty? They said I paused right on his rear end. Like, you really got to see his booty? I had no idea. I didn't even look at the screen. Oh, yeah. I think you can see it right here. Oh, boy. You can't see it. Such a bad boy. Strategic, you're so bad. I really didn't do that on purpose, guys. You guys know I'm not about that life. I don't get any pleasure out of that stuff. Let's keep going.
What was the cut on his thumb that he needed at the end?
Grizzly, you promised us. You said that you edited it out. You promised us, Grizzly. You lied to me. I saw his booty. She made promises she couldn't keep, guys. I'm sorry. Let's keep going.
It's right there on the right side of the cuticle.
This?
Yeah.
Are we doing finger swabs?
Was that? I don't think it was in there.
No. Isn't it?
Yeah, I didn't see any other injuries. But I mean, it was in the dark.
All right, we're about to be done soon, people. I love you guys immensely. Just a few more minutes and we'll wrap the show up, but please do consider tipping the moderators. We kind of took that idea from these other channels. I think Grizzly has it. I'm a big fan of her show, so you'll hear me from time to time give her shout outs, talk about her show. There's anybody who doesn't know that I've been a fan of her show for a very long time. You don't really know much about the Strategiceyes show. So I've been a fan of hers for a while, and she does a lot of things that I like. Other creators do a lot of things that I like as well. And one of the things that I liked was giving coffee to your moderators. My moderators work insanely hard. It is impossible for me to run this show and moderate at the same time. If I just focus on a show and I had no moderators, it'd be anarchy in there. And we don't do anarchy here. We are swift with justice here. This is a criminal justice channel, and we believe in law and order here. That's why we rule with an iron fist. And all of that credit goes to the moderator. So if you ever want to show some love, also consider showing them love, clicking that link that you see inside of the chat and tipping them. Nothing comes to me. It goes only to the moderators into a pool that we will divvy out to them when it gets to a certain amount or whatever. You know, we're not going to send people pennies, but when it gets to a reasonable amount, we'll then divvy it out to the moderators. So please do show love to them in the chat when you can. All right, guys, we love you.
So you guys have everything you feel like you need? Do you want to?
Yeah.
You want to just have a seat for a minute? Let them take a, here, let me pull it out for you. Let them take a look at the photos, make sure we have everything so we don't have to make you do all this again.
Swab in his hands. Somebody asked me what I think about having guns in the interrogation room. No police officer in America should have a gun in an interrogation room. Point blank, period. We have seen 1,000 videos of suspects reaching for officers' guns in interrogation rooms. You should not have a gun in an interrogation room. I know we've seen them here. I think it's a bad idea, but hey, it's Florida. They'll do whatever the hell they want to do.
Now if you could bend your left thumb towards your mouth.
None of us. Why would I ask you?
Thank you. Do you need any more water?
It's a sad day, Stephan, for you, buddy. At this moment, this second, what we got, like 3 more minutes? At this moment right here,
Okay, head out there, just wait with her. She'll get you a little.
your life will never, ever be the same again. This is that crossroad. I mean, the fork in the road happened at what I believe is 6 years old when Stephan Stearns, I believe, started grooming this little girl. I'm not saying that he was physically abusing her, but I believe, based off of my knowledge of how these predators operate, that the grooming started at 6 years old when he was first introduced to the child. Once they get next to that child, this is not something that happens by accident. It's not something that happens unintended. They are looking for a victim. Somebody sent me a CashApp. Thank you so much. I'm not going to read your name out. Sometimes CashApp sends people's real names. But thank you so much. I received it. I really do appreciate the support that you sent me. These predators have been fantasizing about abusing a child for a very long time. They've been minor attracted for a long time. And now they get that opportunity where, wow, I have a vulnerable mother that I can manipulate, and I have a child that I can groom. It starts immediately. The grooming. Not the abuse, but the grooming. Inappropriate touching, hugging, kissing, showing inappropriate videos on the phone, exposing the child to concepts of sex, etc. This stuff happens immediately. Big shout out to Ivan Villa. Ivan, thank you so much with a $49.99 super chat. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. Ivan is a frequent call-in to the show. He has shared with us his stories of being a survivor and a warrior, and we appreciate it. And he's a great addition to the show as a viewer and a supporter, and we thank you so much, Ivan. That's a really big gift to the show, and we really do appreciate it. Kim Black gave a $5 super chat. She says, Stephan Stearns bites the dust. May a man who enjoys what you enjoy be your cellie. Wow. That's tough. That's rough, Kim Black. But I can't say I disagree with you. But thank you again, Ivan, for such a generous donation that you gave the channel. So I believe that the grooming started at 6 years old. I do believe it. And that's when the crossroads happened in his life. He had a choice to make there. He had a choice to follow his carnal, diabolical desires, his degenerate desires and fantasies, or he had a choice to do the right thing and either be a role model for this little girl and protect her, or remove himself from that situation if he felt like he could not physically control himself and seek medical help. He had a choice. And he made a choice. And he's been on that trajectory after he reached that crossroads for a very long time. He lasted longer than many people in modern times. We have adults who are in their 40s, 50s, 60s who have lifetime stories of abuse. But in modern times, with the awareness of abuse, the fact that we're not ashamed to talk about it, the fact that most families are not ashamed to deal with it, they'll stand up for their children and help. you don't really see this stuff happening for the amount of time that Stephen Stearns was doing it for. And this is the result of that choice that he made. This is the result of your choice, Stephen Stearns. And your life will never, ever be the same again. Never again. Let's keep going.
A bit more water, and then I'm going to check this room, and we will get out of here.
And that's the end of it, guys. And it's really smart what she did by checking that interview room. A lot of people don't do that, but it's really smart that she did that to make sure he didn't hide anything during his interrogation. Wow, let me bring it back to me, guys. Let me make some adjustments to my screen and bring everything back to me. Very interesting show. Wouldn't you guys agree? I think it was very interesting, very probative. Was it as riveting and probative as the Jenn Soto interview? No. But was it as important? Absolutely. Absolutely. I think the detectives did an excellent job. I think that in the end, there was some spiritual, some universal justice that happened in that room with the taking of the power away from Stephen Stearns. Kind of like putting him in the position that Maddy was in. I think that was interesting. And also the chat was interesting. You guys were great. You guys were civil. You guys were intelligent. You guys were amazing. I really appreciate you. Got anything else for you guys? I think we're good. Guys, like and subscribe, join the channel. Guys, I really appreciate you. Please consider becoming members of the Patreon. We're pumping the Patreon. It's new. We're dropping content there. I'm put some more content tomorrow on the Patreon. More content on the members tomorrow. We're going to probably talk about some other things. Probably talk about a little bit of Puffy Combs and that stuff that's happening. I hope you guys tune in for that. Whatever. I don't know. I talk about what I feel. So tomorrow I might feel like talking about Maddy again. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But certainly make sure you tune in. Make sure you're part of the family. Make sure that you're experiencing the back end of the Strategiceyes show, not just what you see here on these lives, but you also get to see the stuff that isn't released for everybody else. If you can. If you can't, it's okay. Not everybody can afford the membership. That's okay. Doesn't make you any less endeared to me. It just means that, hey, this is not the right time for you. And one day, if you can and you want to support us in that way, you can come join us, all right? It is what it is, all right? And the only reason why we have a Patreon and we have a membership is that there's some videos that I can't put on YouTube that I can only put on Patreon. When there's violence, if there's police shootings that I want to go over, I've already put a police shooting situation up there with the shooting that happened in a train station in Brooklyn, New York, where a police officer was shot by another police officer and bystanders were shot and the perp had a knife and it's just a whole bloody scene that we saw in that video. We can't put that on YouTube, but we can put it on Patreon. And that's why we have these two different things. So if you can subscribe to them both, go for it. If you can't, don't worry about it. Everything, all good things happen in time. Just take your time, pace yourself, focus on yourself and your family. And if you ever decide that you have a little extra and you want to support the channel, we are here. We'll be waiting for you. Don't feel pressured to do something that you cannot do. Big shout out to Kim Black with a $2 super chat. Says, I must admit, this is a form of relief. Appreciate you. Nordica was highlighted by the moderator. She says, Art Kelly, sorry, disappeared. Sorry. Well, it disappeared, so I can't read it. But anyway, guys, it is what it is. Once again, subscribe to us. We have merch as well. Consider buying the merch, all that good stuff. All right. I think that's it for the show. Rockin's Roof says, you are a natural. I appreciate you. And Stephanie blah, blah, blah says, boom does the dynamite. I like that. And that's it. All right, guys. Like, subscribe, join the channel. Hold on, before I say my intro, let me get my outro queued up. So I'm not just sitting here like this for like 5 hours. All right, we're queued up. We're ready to rock and roll. All right. 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Action. Like, subscribe, join the channel. See you guys on the next one. Strategic. Let's do that again. Like and subscribe, join the channel. See you guys on the next one. Strategic is out of here. Peace. you.